2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Azatec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the EEWC inaugural round of the 2022 season here at Matsusaka. 7 hours down, 5 remaining. It is myself, Chris Buxton, in the box. Alex Goldschmidt taking a well-deserved rest. Kieran McGinley, are you here, ready and willing?
Of course I am. My throat, on the other hand, has a different answer, but I'm certainly here anyway.
You beautiful, beautiful man. I shall do my best to waffle on as best I can, as we are looking at Maid Vargas in the 77 Irish car, still fending off the advances of Liam Rance for fourth. I think it was someone getting out of the way at the top of the shot there. Now coming through the Cassia track, and Liam Rance is still attached to the back of the Irish car. He's been there for a while now, still half a second separating the two. They're doing a great job of navigating the traffic, and that's no mean feat in these cars. You're a little bit more familiar with driving than I, Mr. McGinley. Before I make that particular point, my goodness me, Liam Ross nearly integrating himself to the back of the Gadget House Corvette there. Struth, that was close. The 777 just trying his best to be as small as he can, which is not an easy thing in a Corvette. But how are your thoughts for the various cars we got on the field? If you were in one of these machineries, what would be your chosen weapon?
It's interesting because we've seen from the hypercars all throughout this weekend that what they have in the straight line speed with their engines, they're sort of a little bit nervous, the cars through the corners. You really have to be on top of your game to guide them through the corners, especially the high speed corners. So I'm not sure I could tame a beast like that, but I'd certainly give the production cars a go. They look much more grounded, a lot safer to drive, and I think they give a little bit more leeway in terms of mistakes. It's you can get much closer to crossing the line without crossing it, which I don't think you could do for the DPIs. And if I had to choose a GT car, which I assume is going to be your next question, Chris, and I don't want you to call me a coward, I would probably say I'd go with either Audi or McLaren. They seem, to be the best handling cars, and I think I much prefer a stable setup rather than quite a nervous, jittery car.
Mr. McGinley, would I dare brand you so? You hurt. But no, I'm exactly the same boat. There's no way I could tame the DPIs. They're monstrously quick, but they are so hard to hang on to. Lap after lap after lap after lap, as we see Mate Varga and Liam Ross. Oh, Mate Varga got turned wrong. And nearly Liam Ross smashed into the back of him. That's the GT3 leader. They've just gone past Mark Vermeer, that's now in the charge of the 585 Volante Racing by Azatec Synsport Audi. That got a little bit close. But no, I'm in exactly the same boat as you, Mr. McGinley. I would actually go McLaren. One, because I'm a sucker for the brand, but two, it's stability more than its raw pace. Speaking of stability, Mate Varga again. That car getting all out of shape coming through the Degners. Now, surely Liam Rance smells blood in the water here. Nearly slammed into the back again, Mate Varga. That car is just not wanting to behave itself now. Is Mate Varga really feeling the pressure? Is he pushing up a little bit too hard? Are these tyres gone? I mean, who knows? No one really knows the answer to any of these questions. That's what's running through our heads right now. But Liam Rance is all over the back. He's got to pick his moment carefully. He's clearly the quicker of the two, because Mate Varga has so far had no answer to shake off his pursuer, the 164 car. But again, Liam Ross doesn't want to just bounce like that and hope that he can get away with the move. He's got to do his move carefully, because there's not a huge pace difference between the two. But yeah, we're talking about stable cars, and Mate Varga, by the look of it, that Iris car is anything but stable.
Yeah, it's a mixture, isn't it? It's a mixture of Varga really trying to push on and trying to get away from the car behind, and Liam Rance in response is just, turning up the dial of pressure at the moment and trying these moves in towards the first corner. Tried the move there, just trying to manufacture the move. In the end, it sort of ended with egg on his face there for Liam Rance as he runs deep in towards turn 2 there. He'll get another chance to go again, of course, but a little bit of a let-off there for Varga in the Iris machine.
Yeah, a little bit of breathing space was exactly what Mate Varga hasn't had for several laps. Now, finally, with a small mistake from Liam Rance, has given him just that 1 second gap, which isn't going to take too long to get rid of, judging by Liam's previous pace leading up to this point. It's already disappearing. Just watching the delta in the tower in the top left-hand corner, you can just see those numbers shrinking at every corner, every kilometre driven. That gap is disintegrating. That just shows how much more pace Liam Rance has, but he just needs to pick his moment carefully. They don't want to bin over 7 hours of racing just to try and make one particular move. Like I was saying earlier, Kieran, that Liam Ross, that 164 car, was so late to qualifying yesterday that they lost out on quite a lot of track time with everybody else. Now, I'm not saying they haven't practiced. Of course, they would have done practice and setup tuning and what have you, but that car was very, very late. Only half an hour of the 3-hour session was used, if I remember correctly, as one of the Audis skips out of the way quite nicely. So they were on the back foot coming into this round, but no one seems to have told Liam Rance that at the moment. He's absolutely flying.
No, he's enjoying himself at the moment, isn't he? Really ramping up the pressure on the Team Iris car up ahead as we've got a car leaving the pit lane. Obviously, blue lights will be flashing there, and it's the one of the I think that's the hypercar there. No, it's the Cyberlinks Racing 241 leaving the pit lane there, so it's rejoining now a couple of laps behind the leader of the class. But yeah, just getting well out of the way there. And yeah, like I said, Liam Rance, in a sense, very little to lose in this battle. As you said, come late to qualifying, limited time on getting the right lap time in and getting yourself into the groove of qualifying. So I think, Satellite, in that sense, might have come at this with a bit of, well, we don't have a lot to lose. Let's just throw everything at this and see what happens. Let's take the risks. Let's let some other people make the decisions that we force them to make.
Oh, the telephone. Oh, again, very, very close. Liam Rance has been almost into the tail of the Team Iris car several times at that very same point. It's just where they concertina up, yes, granted. But you can also see as Maid Vargas had to dance around quite a few cars in his defense of that fourth position, which is no mean feat. He's doing a brilliant job of just positioning his car exactly where he needs to be. He's not defending fresh air. The tail is getting very, very lively. Clearly, the tail wants to see where they're going. But he's doing a great job of keeping that, pursuing Liam Rance behind him. The 164 satellite car we're now on board with. Again, we're not seeing any huge big dive bombs. He's trying to outbrake the 77 Iris car, yes, but he's not kind of making silly mistakes. He's not outbreaking himself. We saw that one mistake in the S's last time around, yes, but that's not every lap that he's doing that. And as you can see, he's quite clearly decimated that gap back to the Iris car now. So those two very much glued together. Who is that catching up to them? That, I think, is the Miranda's E-Stars car, the number 64. As there's the team layout for Team Iris, as Maid Varga in the car at the moment. Saying yes, several great names ready to take that over at the time that the driver change will happen. But yeah, it's great to see that after this length of time, we've got such a close battle. Well, actually, there have been several close battles. But, I mean, wow, the GT3 league battle was absolutely insane. And even for fourth in the LMPs, they're pressing for everything they can get. They're not just letting the time go by. They're not just rolling through the miles as some people do. They know they've got a lot of hours behind them, so they just stay where they are and just pick their moment later on. Liam Rance is clearly pushing very hard. You can see that when the car twitches around and the small mistakes that kick in, you can tell he's not just content to stay where he is. He's pushing for everything he can get.
Yeah, and these LMP2 cars have a certain threshold where you can try and throw everything at them, and they'll have a wiggle here or there to warn you, no, you were very close to the limit there. But the hypercars have even less of a tolerance there. That's why they're so you've really got to be confident in what the car can do. Meanwhile, Liam Rance leaving that braking very, very late then in the satellite racing machine. He's been so confident on the brakes, especially going in towards the Casio triangle. No real surprise there. He is trying to gain the space, try and gain the mileage back, and see if he can try and make a move into the next corner. The problem is, though, Chris, in such high downforce vehicles, really the only chance that Liam Rance has of making a move is on a heavy braking zone, and you've got the hairpin, you've arguably got the Casio triangle as well, but those are your two major braking points, and at the moment Varga at Team Iris is placing the car perfectly.
Yeah, so far so good. And now we've seen a few times already in the race where the lead car has used back markers to box in their opponents. We've seen that several times in the race. And look at this, getting very, very busy now around Maid Varga. I don't envy him right now because he's got a lot of people chasing him, because that's not all for position. As we know, we've got at least one DPI at the back of that particular train that will be very keen to get out from this train. That's James Suzuba in the third place DPI car that just wants to get on with it. He doesn't want to be stuck in this particular train. But again, the DPIs don't have a massive pace advantage over the LMP2s. And the LMP2s don't have to jump out of the way. We say this a few times in endurance racing. The slower classes have to be predictable. They can't... It's very much frowned upon if they try and jump out of the way, unless they do it in a very obvious manner with plenty of space. But that is the last thing Liam Rance is wanting to do, because he's going to lose so much time against Maid Varga, which, yes, he's closed that gap down several times. Oh, this is going to get a little dicey. Again, that's going to put the Iris team in a really awkward position. Is Liam Rance going to have the opportunity? Yes, but no space to use it. Again, Maid Vance, I thought he was going to be a little bit hung out to dry there, but he's gone to that defensive line look. He's feeling the pressure now. Liam Rance getting the slipstream in, but he's been forced to the outside line that almost never works into turn one. Bit of nudging. I was going to say door banging. They don't have doors there. A bit of wheel banging going on between the two. But Liam Rance is actually nose ahead of the Team Iris car. Can he hold it? No, not quite. Side by side. I hope they know they've got another 5 hours. But Varga has managed to nose back ahead of Liam Rance. It's still not finished, though. I think it's now done. Mate Varga somehow managed to get rid of the advances of the 164 car. What a great drive from both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. That started all at the Casio Triangle, where the Iris car tried to get the move done and get past the Unison Racing car going in towards the Casio Triangle. To me here, the Unison Racing car, well, where else can that car go? He's given the space and even gives a little bit of a love tap just for safe measure as well on the exit. And yeah, I mean, fair play to Varga then. He managed to hold on to that position, took a lot of side-by-side action going through the S's, but all for the cameras. What a battle we've got here.
That was brilliant. There's Alexander Zakharov. He did the right thing. He just had to hold his line and stay predictable. He knew he couldn't turn to his left because he had made Varga there. He couldn't brake because he had Liam Rance right behind him. So he did the absolutely right thing and just minded his own business. As again, coming through 130R, is Liam Rance going to try and banzai into the Casio Triangle? As again, there's somebody in the way. Oh, that's gotten a little bit uncomfortable. And again, Liam Rance corner position where he cannot use his pace advantage. That Team Iris car is brilliant on corner exit in particular.
Well, I have to say, sorry, Chris, I cut over you there because that was a GTE car of Satellite Racing. Who got slightly as Satellite Racing in the LMP car trying to go round the outside, but runs out of road, tries to rejoin here, and now you've got Cyberlink Racing, who are not involved in this battle but will happily take a on-track position if they want to. They're a couple of laps down on this battle for 4th place, but they won't care. They've got themselves up a position, and yeah, I think Liam Rance will be absolutely kicking himself there. That was a golden opportunity to try and get a move in towards turns 1 and 2, and it has not worked at all.
No, not for Liam this time. And again, we come back to the original point about patience. You've got to maintain your concentration. It's so difficult to do, especially in the dark. And, you know, Liam's been in that car for quite a few hours already. You know, he did a lot of he did what qualifying he could yesterday. And, yeah, every time I've looked at him, he's been in the car. So he's been in there quite some time. So he must be feeling fatigued by now. And he's still able to press on and, you know, do what he can to keep the pressure on the Team Iris car. Absolutely fantastic. We've talked about liveries, or certainly me and Alex did yesterday. The one in front of, the one in between the battle that we're looking at, in between Mate Varga and Liam Rance, not quite so keen on that light blue and pink livery going on. Do you have a particular favourite in the current lineup? Oops, as Mate Varga gets very twitchy coming through 130R. What's the pick of the McGinley for the liveries?
I think we're looking at one of them, well, at least the rear wing of one of them right now. I really am a huge fan of the Team Iris livery. It looks absolutely stunning as it makes its way through, and you know, you get a bit of a different look at these cars and these liveries under the lights as well, and I think that Iris livery looks absolutely brilliant. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, that is a good-looking car. I quite like the 404 Glam Racing Audi. I've mentioned that a few times. I very much look forward to that making its way back through the field. Of course, they had trouble earlier on. Someone else I've just noticed has had definite trouble is Alistair Young in this M9 Axle car, in the DPI car. Number 11, he's in the pits. According to my list, he's in the pits, and he's way down the order. What on earth has happened to him, I wonder?
Yeah, it's still in the pit lane, though. A good 20 seconds, it looks like, in the pit lane at the moment. So we'll have to keep an eye on that number 11 car. But it's going to be hard to look anywhere else when the Satellite Racing machine are in control. Liam Rance has got back ahead of that Cyberlink Racing machine and is now in prime position to try and take away 4th place yet again. I hope you had a chance to refill your popcorn, because this battle for 4th place in LMP2 is well and truly back on. Very
much so indeed. I mean, this is what we love, isn't it? I mean, we love very close and intense racing, but it's very hard to do that for hours on end. It's hard for the drivers to do. It's hard for us commentators, even with a throat, to shout about, let alone you, poor Mr. McGinley, that is having to do so with, it sounds like you're kind of trying to commentate through a cup. The cup of sand at the moment, and I'm sure you'll throw. Oh no! The Iris car has come in. I'm sure that's been planned. Oh, ours only just slows down in time for that. I was looking forward to that battle getting underway again. But Mike Varga has brought in the number 77. That brings an end to the battle for fourth for now, because of course we don't know how the rest of the pit stops are going to go, etc. As it looks like the car behind is creeping forward. I think you might have got the wrong pit box there. He's struggling to find the right spot, it seems. Bit of a confusion over the pit boxes there. Made Varga is up on his jack, so he can't do anything. But Liam Rance now with a clean run in fourth position.
Yeah, absolutely. And all good things do have to come to an end. I'm sure you know, Mr. Buxton. In this case, strategy has to come first for these drivers and these teams. We've been told many times over the lap to make sure you pit in, but with that battle just on pause for now, just on hold, it's probably a wise idea to have a look at the leaders in each category so far. So we're looking at just in the top right hand corner, the number 18 Burst Esports Simplexity, driven by Jerne Simončić. It's currently leading the race by a full lap around this circuit with 4 hours and 40 minutes left to run. Unison Racing, the number 17 car, also a fantastic livery. Do want to mention that in second place. And rounding off the top three is the 64 Moradnes E-Stars, as driven right now by James Juba. In LMP2s, it's currently the 21 car, the Sem9 Axel, as driven by Inigo Anton right now. Second place, Juices Motorsport Club, the number 15, driven at the moment by Darius Andre. And in third place, it's the 94 Burst Esport Good Sunglasses. At the wheel of that one, Tom Oldermanger. Chris, maybe if you want to take us through the top three in GTE and
Certainly
GT3.
Can. Yeah, so like you say, the race leader now, Jerne Simončić, taking over the Burst Esports Simplexity number 18 from Michi Hoyer. The GTE lead car is Wojtek Pelesny, the number 74 Juices Motorsports Club car. Leads that by around about 20 seconds or so from the number 54 Porsche, the Musto Pescara car, currently now in the hands of Giordano Valerino. Again, I'm sure I'm not getting these entirely right, so apologies if I'm not. And in third in GTEs is the 717 Unison car. We saw that very multicolored BMW. Alexander Zakharov still in charge of that one. Leading the GT3s is the 585 Valenti Racing by Aztec SimSport car, currently in the hands of Mark Vermeer. Quite some way ahead of his counterpart in GT3, which is the B32 Racing McLaren. That's another fantastic livery on that one. And the third place car, the Cogwheel emblazoned Corvette, that's the 777 DSR Gadget Houset car, currently in the hands of Michael Cicciolini. That circulates about 50 seconds ahead of Gert Nielsen in the Teleforingen car. So we continue to look at our leader, Jerne Simončić, making his way through 200R. Well, it's not really a great deal to worry about. He's got quite a considerable lead over the next DPI, which is the 17 Unison car. That's the way it goes sometimes, but anything can change. We saw, as I came into the broadcast, we saw the GT3 leader go from first to last. Any mistake can befall anyone, no matter how good they are, no matter what battle they're in, and crucially, no matter what gap they have.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to Michi Hoyer as the number 18 Burst Esports Simplexity machine had a spin at 130R a few hours ago, and that was my case of curse of the commentator. But for sure, Jerne Simončić doing a fantastic job. And of course, Chris, you were there watching on with Michi Hoyer setting that 142.7 in qualifying. I'm actually pretty jealous you got to watch that, because that's a lap that's going in the Hoyer scrapbook for a long time.
That was inhumane how fast I was, and he very calmly said that there was a 42.6 in the making somewhere. And what I also love was the fact that he was drinking a cup of coffee when he was doing his laps. It was brilliant. It was clearly very relaxed, and wow, did it pay off though.
Yeah, I mean, just making it look cool. I was saying to Yusuf last night, do you reckon we could pull that off as commentators? But I don't think it had quite the same effect. But hey ho, we'll give it a go. Maybe we could master it at some point this season.
Yeah, the stealthily drinking of something through a straw, perhaps. Maybe we will see. I think we might be upsetting our production crew if we suddenly start slurping something on camera. Hey ho, the race continues. So Jene Simoncic, he's a lap ahead at least. I think it was a couple of laps now ahead of the next car down the road, which is actually the LMP2 leader of Inigo Anton. So some distance before he has any trouble. There is GT3 leader Mark Vermeer, the 585 Volante Racing by Aztec, not Aztec, beg your pardon. Sim Sports, the wonderfully coloured Audi that fought very hard for the class lead about an hour ago and has very much enjoyed the lead. Now was the 404 racing car that they was fighting with. They then had connection issues that dropped into the tail of the GT3 field. There's actually several GTEs in between. There's two GTEs indeed in between Mark Vermeer and second in class, the B32 Racing McLaren. The car directly behind them is that. I'm trying to see. Oh, that is the fifth GT. Yes, that's car 82. That is Gabor Hevesi in the 82 Sim Racing car. That's with several LMPs around him now. I think is that our LMP leader that's just gone through? I think it was our LMP leader that's Inigo Anton that's just gone past. So that's again a thing we've talked about is you've got to remain. You've got to very much remain predictable, especially in a track that is really hard work, such as this. So we jump to third place, Tom Allmendinger. There he is in the 94 car. And we've had a potential disconnection, I can see from our chart, from the 241. And that's Alexei Zagorovnev in the Cyberlinks racing car is in the garage. Trouble for the 241.
Yeah, of course. We'll try and keep you updated on that as best as possible and as soon as possible as well, because, yeah, as you say, that car has got a DNF next to it, and we'll start dropping down the order sooner rather than later. Just wanted to say as well that Gabor Hevesi driving the that machine there, that GT3 number 82 Mugen Sim Racing, a very odd thing that has happened is that someone who's not the leader of the class going through, and someone who is the leader of the class willingly letting them, as if it was a blue flag. You don't normally see that one, but this is Mugen, who fell afoul of a couple of issues earlier on in the race. They fell to last in their class, and they are truly trying to fight back. They were about 3 laps down. They now find themselves 5th overall. Just having a look and seeing where they roughly are in terms of timing. It looks like they are 2 seconds now behind the next car, at least according to my timing. So they are doing a stunning recovery drive job, and this is what endurance is all about. You will fall afoul, you will have some issues, but it's how you make those issues work and how you recover from them. That's what everybody is going to be looking on for. And if they can get a podium out of this, Yusuf did say that he reckons that this team can get a podium. It's very possible now, considering that they're not too far away from 4th in class.
Oh, that was a bit of a moment there for Tom Allmendinger. You did see the Volante 585 Audi. He went to take the racing line, not realising Tom was there. Oh, sorry, side by side with the 67 BMW. That's a little bit uncomfortable. That's Gergo Balog in the Mugen Sim Racing car. He has come out, and you can see in the picture-in-picture, the 241 is back out on track. Alexei, Alexei is back out on track now. There he is. Down into 6th in the LMPs now, but he's back out on track. Also someone that's back out on track, I notice. Oh no, beg your pardon. No, he hadn't left the session. I was just about to say Alistair Young is back out on track, but no, he's not. He's still in his pit box, where he's been for quite a considerable period of time. There's Gabor Hevesi in the 5th place GT3 car. That's the 82 Mugen Sim Racing car. There he is in the McLaren, right behind the Telephonian. I can't get this right. I've been trying all night and I can't get it right. The Telephonian BMW nearly integrating himself with the GTE car. Fourth place. I beg your pardon. That's the M6. Excuse me. That's the fourth place. So that's actually a battle for position between Gert Nielsen and Gabor Hevesi. Gabor's been pretty quick in that car since he took that one over. Gert was about 3 seconds slower. Oh my goodness me! Never mind. Can't even finish the sentence. And that's a move of position. That is fourth place now in the hands of Gabor Hevesi. That was a determined move on the inside of turn one.
Yeah, it was a scenario that made Gert Nelson think, yeah, it's not worth battling this position in the 188 Televoningen machine. Yeah, you could see Hevesi right along the right-hand side of his car, and yeah, that was just Nielsen saying, do you know what, it's not worth the battle. It's not worth the trouble. We'll just let Gabor Hevesi get on with it. And that now brings him 52 seconds away from the podium spots in GT3. I mean, Mugen themselves in that 82 machine are doing a fine job right now. A lot of eyebrows were raised when Mugen Sim Racing entered a GT3 entry, Chris, because the talent that they have, they really, all expectations would have said, I think we've all said, that we are expecting Mugen Sim Racing to win the GT3 class. That is the quality of their drivers.
Absolutely. A couple of yellow flags went out there. One was Gert Nielsen in the I can't get this right. Teleforingen BMW. And also Gergo Balog in the 67 Sim Racing, the GTE car, also had a yellow flag up briefly, but they've both gotten back underway again. So you saw the Sector 2 yellow banner flash at the top of the screen. It was actually two separate incidents that caused that. So as we see, Gabor Hevesi very much dispatched of the 188 car, very much on his own, partly due to the spin, but he's now setting about it looks like he's decimating that gap between himself and the 70 and the 777 DSR Gadget Husa car. That gap is disintegrating. Let's see what the lap times were last time around. So for Michael Ciccolini in the 777, that was a 2:05.1. Wow, 5 seconds difference between the two cars. Gabor Hevesi is really a man on a mission at the moment to claw in to a potential podium position.
Yeah, and a man that's on a mission like Gabor Hevesi deserves to be left alone for a bit of peace and quiet. So we'll leave him alone and go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get more of the same battling up and down the field. Don't go anywhere.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for new forest. Racing for Green.